As a first, we are going to make a slip knot. So we are going to grab our yarn, turn it around, grab this yarn and make a slip knot. Put our hook there, and now we are going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now into our first chain we are going to make a slip knot. Okay, and we have this little circle, as you can see. Now we are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now we are going to make double crochet into our circle. Okay, and this yarn that is our from slip knot, we are going to keep it like this. So every time we are going to make, we need to make sure that it's here, so then we are hiding it. Okay, so we are making our double crochet, so grabbing the yarn, pulling through first 2 loops, grabbing the yarn and pulling through last 2 loops. Now I am going to place chain 1, and now again double crochet into the same circle. So first 2 loops, chain 1, and again. And basically I will be changing from double crochet with chain 1, so I will make this 12 times, okay? And our first chain 2, so basically our first chain 4 is basically my double crochet plus chain 1. So we are counting this with this as our first double crochet. So make 12 together, so you need to have 12 of these double crochets, and I will meet you at the end. Now when we have 12, so we will count together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is my double crochet, and I am going to make chain 1, and now I am going to make slip stitch into my 3rd chain. So this is my 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So I am going to place here slip stitch, slip knot, slip stitch, perfect. Now I am going to chain 1, and into the same space, so where I was making the chain 4, so basically here, in this first chain space, so I will put the finger there so you can see it, perfect. We are going to place a single crochet, okay? Now we are going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now I am going to place single crochet into the next chain 1 space that we were making previous round. And I am going to place there single crochet. Now I am going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I am going to place single crochet into my next chain 1 space, so here. And now I am going to chain 6 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and going into my next space and place there single crochet. And now I am going to make chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and going into my next space and making single crochet. And basically this is the way I am going to do. So I will be switching between chain 6, chain 5, chain 6, chain 5, and I will be placing single crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces that we had. At the end, we will before you will do your last chain, we will meet there. And now, so this is my chain 5. Now I have my last single crochet, last chain space here. So now I should do 6, chain 6. So this is what I am going to do. So now chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now I am going to place my single crochet into my last chain 1 space. And at the end, we are going to do as following. We are going to now chain 2, 1 and 2, and we are going to make double crochet into our first single crochet that we made at the beginning. Okay, so there we are going to place our double crochet, and we will make kind of, let's say, mini circle there. Okay, and now we are going to do our last round. So we are going to make chain 2, 1 and 2. Now we are going to place into our next circle, or let's say chain, we are going to place 2 double crochet, so 1 and 2. Now I am going to make a picot stitch. So how to do a picot stitch? We are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, okay? And now into the top of my double crochet, double crochet that I was making. So here we have our chain, and I'm going to place my hook into this first and second loop that I have right here, okay? So this is my second double crochet, and on top of that I am not going directly through the double crochet like I would normally do. I would take only the front loop here and the down one like this, and I am going to make a slip stitch through both and from both, and I will make basically this little tiny, let's say, ball or circle. Now it doesn't look good, but basically what it will create, this is already hardened up, let's say star, it will create this little bump, as you can see, okay? And we are going to make this 3 times. But how to do the next 2? So now this was our first picot. Now we are going to make a treble. Treble is we are going to yarn over twice around our hook, going into the same circle. We are still in the same chain, same circle, and now we are going to make treble. So first 2 loops, grabbing the yarn, going through first another 2 loops, and grabbing the yarn and going through last 2 loops. So now I've done my treble. Now I am going to make picot, but out of 6. So I will now chain 5. So now I will chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now I am going to make a picot. So again I am going through the top of my treble. So this is the first loop, and here is the second loop, as you can see. Now I am going to make a slip stitch and pulling through. Now I am going to make another treble, so yarning over twice. Now going through first 2 loops, going through another 2 loops, and going through another 2 loops. My treble is done, and now I am going to make my third picot, and now I am going to make it out of 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So chain 4, and again on top, so I am going through this loop and this loop right here and making slip stitch. Come, perfect. And now in the same circle, so all of this we are still doing within the one circle, and now I am going to place it within the same 2 double crochet. So 1 and 2, okay? And now, as you can see here, we have our first little, let's call it corner of our star, okay? It doesn't look nice right now. We need to trust the process, and at the end it will have, let's say, the form that we would like to. So now, after we are done with our first chain 6 space, into chain 5 we are going to do as following. We are going to now chain 2, 1, 2, placing single crochet into our chain 5 space, okay? Now going to chain 2 again, and now in the chain 6 space we are going to repeat exactly what we did here. So I am going to do it again one more time with you. So first we are going to place 2 double crochet, so 1 and 2. Now we are going to make our first picot, so we are going to chain 4, 2, 3 and 4. We are going to place our hook here and here into our first 2 loops, pulling through and making slip stitch. Now we are going to make a treble, so yarning over twice. Now pulling through first 2 loops, pulling through first 2 loops and pulling through 2 loops. Now treble is done. Now we are going to make our big picot, so out of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. My scissors. Okay, now I am going to again going through the first 2 loops. So here is my treble, and you can see here this is the last 2 loops that I was going through when I was making my treble, and I'm going through those loops and making a slip stitch. Now I'm going to make another treble, so pulling through 2 loops, pulling through 2 loops, pulling through 2 loops. And now I'm going to make my last picot, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and going through the last 2 loops of my treble, making slip stitch. And now I am going to make a double crochet, 2 double crochet. So 1 and 2. And basically what we are going to repeat through the whole process. So into our chain 6 space, and you see they are bigger, so you can see it also from the visual aspect, but basically you will be switching between making a corner and just simple single crochet, making a corner, simple crochet. So this is how you are going to basically switching. So at the end you will have 6 pointy stars. Okay? So what we are going to do next? So here we are going to chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, and in this one we are going to make again this corner, which will be 2 double crochet, picot of 4, treble, picot of 6, treble, picot of 4, and then 2 double crochet. And then again here chain 2, single crochet, chain 2. And this way all the way we are going to end, and we will meet at the let's say at the last circle, or let's say chain space that we have here, to show you how to close the star. Okay, so now I made my last corner of the star, so I have 6 all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now how to finish it off? So I did my last 2 double crochet, okay, and now I am going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and now I am going to slip stitch into my double crochet that we did into as a last in our previous round, and I am going to slip. So here we have 2 options. You can just rather slip stitch basically and fasten off your work, okay, but if you want already to make this basically possibility, so then you can immediately hang it on your tree, and you don't want to do it later on because you are lazy like me. But then you need to be careful, because then when you are starching it up, or basically when you are sugaring it up, I'm using sugar water, then you need to make sure that this one is not in the water. So you need to be careful more when you are then, let's say, hardening it up. But if you want to do it this way, then before we do our slip stitch, we will do the following. So let me just remove my slip stitch. Okay, come. So what we are going to do is the following. We are going through our double crochet normally. And instead of just grabbing our yarn normally, what we will do, we will go behind our yarn with the hook, grabbing this yarn right here that I am holding with my index finger, and now pulling through the loop, pulling through the double crochet and pulling through my loop. Okay, and now basically this looks a little bit funny because now we have 2 loops, but this is exactly what we want. So now I am going to cut the yarn. Okay, now make the size of this loop that you prefer. Okay, and with this loop we are going to simply fasten off as we would usually do. Come on, sorry. Okay, we will pull through, and now I will hold my yarn and just normally harden it. And now you see I made my own, and it's not going anywhere. It's exactly at the place where I want to be. So now I simply hide my yarn. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut it, and my star is almost done. Okay, so basically what you should do now, because you see now it doesn't look so nice versus this one, and basically believe me, it's exactly the same yarn. So basically in my video that will be right now up in the corner, you will see how to harden up or how to make this solid. So really you see that I cannot move it a lot and it looks completely little bit different, so it has more shape of the star. So I will show you in the other video, you can go check it now, how to make basically on how to harden it. I am concretely using sugar water because starch for me was not enough, especially when you are making different styles. So for star you have more possibilities, starch maybe for some would be enough, not for me, because I want to make sure that when my star fall down from the tree, for example, then it's not destroyed, and I don't believe starch so much, therefore I'm using sugar water. And yes, you don't need to be worried about insects or so on. No, they are not going there at all. I am doing this over the 3rd or 4th year in a row. I have my Christmas stuff in the house, and never ever I had any encounter with any ants and so on. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this, and yeah, I cannot wait for your creations.